Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's press conference. My name is Li Zhimin. I'm from the Mission of China. I'm the counselor and the spokesperson of the mission. As you already know that China assumes the Security Council presidency for this month. Today, we are very delighted to invite His Excellency Ambassador Fu Cong, permanent representative of China and the president of the Security Council for February, to share with you the program of work. After that, His Excellency will answer some questions. The political coordinator of the mission, Minister Councillor Sun Zhiqiang, is also with us. Now, Your Excellency, you have the floor, please.
Thank you. Dear friends from the press, good afternoon, and thank you for being here. And let me also extend a happy Lunar New Year to all of you. It is an honor for China and for me personally to assume the Security Council presidency for the month of February. We see this as an important responsibility. We will discharge our duties in a constructive and professional manner to promote solidarity among Council members and ensure that the Council fulfills its mandate. This morning, Council members held an internal consultation and adopted the program of work for this month, which I'm glad to share with you now. First, China will hold a signature event on multilateralism and the global governance. It will be a Security Council high-level open debate on February the 18th, under the theme of practicing multilateralism, reforming and improving global governance. The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi will come to New York to preside over this meeting. We are also inviting foreign ministers or senior officials of other countries, including non-security members, to attend. As we mark the 80th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations this year, and as the world enters a very turbulent period, the open debate aims to encourage countries to revisit the original aspirations of the UN, reaffirm their commitment to multilateralism and the important role of the United Nations, including the Security Council, and to explore ways to reform and improve the global governance. Second, the situation in the Middle East remains a priority on the Council's agenda. This month, we will hold briefings on the Palestinian issue, Syria, and Yemen. Regarding Gaza, now there is a ceasefire, but the situation remains fragile. The Council needs to closely follow the developments and take actions if needed, so as to ensure that the ceasefire agreement is implemented fully and effectively, and that the humanitarian access remains open and unhindered. Also, phase one of the ceasefire arrangement will end by the end of the month. It is incumbent upon the international community to promote a comprehensive and a permanent ceasefire and ensure that the ceasefire is uninterrupted and irreversible. Of course, the situation in West Bank also merits our close attention. Just yesterday, we heard reports of the IDF's military attacks against residential blocks in the Jenin and Tukam camps. And this morning, I met with Minister Mansour of the Palestinian mission, and he explained he actually presented a letter to the President of the Security Council and asked the Security Council to take swift actions to stop the situation. And we are in consultation with member states of the Security Council on the possible meeting, and we are consulting on the format and the timing of that meeting. And in addition, of course, considering the challenges UNRWA is facing with, the Council will pay close attention to issues related to the agency and the humanitarian situation in the occupied territories. Turning to Syria, The situation is still critical and fragile. At present, the Council's focus is on supporting Syria in maintaining unity and restoring stability, and starting a credible and inclusive political transition in line with the principles of Council Resolution 2254. At the same time, we must do everything we can to prevent the resurgence of terrorism and extremism, both in and from Syria. Third, Africa will be another priority on the Council's agenda. This month, the Council will hold briefings on UN missions in South Sudan, in Libya, and in Central African Republic, as well as the situation in Sudan. Recently, the situation in Eastern DRC is deteriorating rapidly, which could further jeopardize peace and security of the region. We at the Council will closely follow the developments and act in a way that is most conducive to the cessation of hostilities and the easing of tensions. At present, the political and security situations in some parts of Africa are extremely volatile. There are huge challenges in terms of peacekeeping and peace building, as well as humanitarian assistance. The Security Council and the wider international community must maintain and increase their attention and support for Africa. As the President, China will work with other Council members, the A3 in particular, to promote dialogue and consultation and seek political solutions on African issues. In addition, this month the Council will discuss the semi-annual report of the Secretary General on the threat posed by ISIL or Daesh. This will provide an opportunity for Council members to further coordinate their counterterrorism efforts. The Council will also hold its annual dialogue with the peacekeeping police. The meeting will be focused on how peacekeeping police can better participate in PKOs in the context of the peacekeeping transformation. And also, the Council will hold consultations on the 1718 Committee regarding DPRK-related sanctions. And apart from what I have mentioned, the Council will keep abreast of other hotspot issues and will be prepared to discuss and take action in light of the latest developments. So these are a brief outline of the work plan for the Council for the month of February. As you can see, it is already quite full, but we are certain that there will be new issues coming up. So as the rotating president, China will engage extensively and closely with all parties on all issues on the agenda and try our best to build the broadest possible consensus. We also encourage Council members to consult with each other to enhance trust and bridge differences. We will continue our efforts to improve the efficiency of the Council. We will also invite civil society representatives to participate in relevant meetings as appropriate in order to provide fresh perspectives to the Council. We will also keep in close contact with the media to ensure transparency of our work. And that's all from me, and now I'm ready to take your questions.
Okay, we come to the Q&A sessions. I will be the moderator. Before asking questions, please kindly just introduce yourself and the organization you represent. Thank you. To start, we just follow the tradition and give the first question to the representative of ANCA. Edith, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. On behalf of the United Nations Correspondents Association, for doing this briefing, and let us all wish you a very happy Lunar New Year, and I'm sure we all hope for perhaps and hopefully a more peaceful Lunar New Year. I have two questions. First, do you envision a Security Council resolution on the conflict in Congo between the government and M23? And secondly, the Trump administration this weekend imposed 10% tariffs on Chinese goods coming into the United States. Could you comment on that, and do you expect any impact on the United Nations of this move?
Yes, on Congo, indeed, yes, we are very concerned about the situation in Congo. I think what is most important is to have the ceasefire, and also it is important that the M23 withdraws from the territory it has occupied. And we also urge the two countries, Rwanda and the DRC, to engage in peace dialogues. And with respect to a possible resolution, indeed, one member of the Security Council is floating the idea that there might be a resolution along the lines I have outlined. And so as far as the presidency is concerned, we are in full support of this, both in our national capacity and as the president of the council. And we do believe that the situation merits very rapid and robust response from the Security Council. And that's one thing. And on the U.S. tariffs, indeed, thank you for raising that question, which gives me an opportunity to respond to that. And indeed, we are firmly opposed to this unwarranted increase, and we do believe that this is in violation of the WTO rules. So that's why China is filing a complaint at the WTO. And also we may be forced to take countermeasures. And let me also emphasize that there is no winner in a trade war. And we do hope that the U.S. should look at its own problems, really find a solution that is beneficial not only to itself and also to the whole world. And frankly speaking, I don't think that raising tariffs is beneficial to the U.S. itself. And also I want to mention that the excuse for raising the tariffs is on the fentanyl. Let me also say that this is also very, very much unwarranted. And China is one of the countries that has the most stringent regulations on fentanyl. Actually, we have regulations on all fentanyl-related substance. Actually, China is the only country that put the whole category of fentanyl-related substance under regulation. And so, again, on this issue, the U.S. should approach this issue more from his own perspective. For instance, look at the demand side of the fentanyl, and rather than shifting the blames onto others. I don't think that will be a good for the U.S. itself. Thank you.
Camilla, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you, Ambassador. Happy New Year, as others have said. It's Pamela Falk from U.S. News and World Report. Following on Edith's question, on February 18th, when your foreign minister comes here, do you expect any conversations here at UN headquarters or in Washington on the U.S.-China dialogue that's going on, continuing to go on the tariffs, or with you and what promises to be the new U.S. Ambassador Elise Stefanik? Thank you.
Well, on the foreign ministers meeting, actually, as I said, we are extending invitations to all members of the Security Council and also non-members of the Security Council to attend the meeting. And we don't know whether Secretary Rubio is coming to New York. If he comes, I'm sure that will be a very good opportunity for the two foreign ministers to meet. And as far as I'm concerned, Well, tariff is not I don't think it is a subject for the United Nations here. It is a subject for the WTO. But, I'll be happy to discuss any issue with my counterpart from the United States. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chinese journalist Xinhua, please.
China Xinhua Youth Agency. According to your agenda, this month, China will host the Security Council high-level open debate on practicing multilateralism, reforming and improving global governance. My question is, what's your consideration for the arrangement of this debate? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. This gives me an opportunity to explain a little more on the China's initiative on this signature event. Let me say that China's initiative to hold this signature event is based on three considerations. The first one is the urgent need to reaffirm our commitment to multilateralism. We all know that this year it marks the 80th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations. And in our view, if the 80 years of the UN history have taught us anything, it is that multilateralism is the best guarantee for international peace and stability. So we believe that as the world enters a new period of turbulence, it is all the more important for countries to reaffirm their commitment to an international system with the UN at its core and to an international order based on international law. In particular, the principle of peaceful resolution of disputes. And second consideration is the urgent need to improve global governance. It is our belief that facing the myriad challenges around the world, no country can stay aloof or unaffected. The only option is to work together. At present, there is an increasing call in the international community, among the Global South in particular, for reforming and improving the global governance system. In our view, global governance reform is not about dismantling the existing system or reinventing the wheel. Our approach is one of innovation and improvement. It is to better reflect the changing realities of the global political and economic landscape and the common aspirations of the Global South. The aim is to build a more just and equitable global governance system, one that addresses the global governance deficit and ensures that its benefits are shared by all. Our third consideration is the urgent need to strengthen the role of the Security Council. The Security Council is at the core of the global collective security mechanism. The whole world looks to the Council members to work together to fulfill our duties mandated by the UN Charter. Yet, unfortunately, long-established practices that have served us well over the years are being eroded. Solidarity and cooperation are being replaced by division and confrontation. And very often, the Council has been unable to do anything in face of major security crises. This situation cannot continue. The Council must rise up to its responsibilities, and for that to happen, it must return to the path of multilateralism and the mutual consideration. So these are the rationale behind China's initiative to hold this signature event on multilateralism and the global governance. So we expect, as I said in my opening remarks, that the member states, in particular, the members of the Security Council, should reconfirm their commitment to multilateralism and to the role of the UN in order that the world could move in a better direction. Thank you.
Okay, Governor, please.
Good afternoon, Ambassador. Happy New Year. Gabriel Elizondo from Al Jazeera English. 2 questions, sir. Number 1.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Either in your capacity as president or in your national capacity, what exactly are you looking for on the West Bank issue in terms of coming out of the council in perhaps the coming days? And second question on Panama. The United States claims that China has influence and control over the Panama Canal and or areas around the canal. Is that true? And what's your response to the Panamanian president announcing that he might end the 2017 Belt and Road Initiative with your country? Thank you.
So I'll answer your second question first, since this is directly related to China. Let me say that I think the accusation against China is totally false, is groundless. And let me emphasize that China has not participated in the management and operation of Panama Canal and has never interfered in canal affairs. China respects Panama's sovereignty over the canal and recognizes the canal as permanent neutral international gateway. So I want to put that on record. And with respect to the statement by the President of Panama regarding the Belt and Road Initiative, let me say that if I heard him correctly, that he is actually trying to not to continue with the memorandum, the understanding of a memorandum of understanding. I think that is a regrettable decision, because in the Belt and Road Initiative, first and is, let me say this, is an economic initiative. The purpose is to build up a platform for countries, especially the Global South, to have economic cooperation with each other. So it has nothing to do with any political agenda. So and the economic cooperation is mutually beneficial. So we do hope that country would see this in a proper light, and the smear campaign that is launched by the U.S. and some of the other Western countries on the Belt and Road Initiative is totally groundless. And so we will continue with our efforts in the hope that the Global South can work better, and China can provide assistance to the development of all these developing countries. And coming back to the West Bank. Yeah, in the West Bank, we are, as I said, we are following the situation very closely, and we have seen the reports that the military attacks on Jenin and the refugee camps. So we do hope that the situation can improve, and Israel should stop attacking the Palestinian people. And with respect to the Security Council, and as I said, we are coordinating with member states, and we'll be happy to convene a meeting and in order to express our views, and if possible, take appropriate actions.
Next, Michelle, please.
Thank you, Ambassador. Michelle Nichols from Reuters. Just following up on all the other questions that have already been asked with regard to US-China relations and the deterioration that we're seeing at the moment, how do you think that might impact work here at the UN between yourself and your new incoming US counterpart? Do you think these tensions could affect anything else that the Security Council is dealing with?
Well, I'm sure most of you have seen the hearings that the new PR of the U.S. had, and I saw most part of this. And I would like to say that from that hearing, I can see that she's a smart lady, articulate, and well prepared. And of course, I also took note of some of the prejudices and the misconception that he has expressed, which we strongly object to. And but on the whole, I do believe China and the U.S., being the two biggest countries in the world, have so much in common, and that we can cooperate on. For instance, within the framework of the United Nations, there are global issues that require the concerted efforts of the entire international community, and in particular countries like China and the United States, like the anti-terrorism, for instance, anti-narcotics, just now I have mentioned, and also non-proliferation issues, and also well, in my view, the climate change issue, and should also be an issue that the two countries can cooperate with each other. So, and also we have, and also within this House, China and the U.S. are the two biggest financial contributors to the UN, so it is only natural that our two countries have some similar concerns on how to enhance the efficiency of the Secretariat and the UN's work. So there are many things that China and the US can work together. And I do hope that despite all the rhetorics that we have heard from the American politicians, we can take a constructive, and I will emphasize, a professional approach to our work here in the United Nations, because there are so many things that we can work together and so much is at stake. If China and the US can work together and jointly, I'm sure we will be able to solve many problems and make the world a better place to live. Thank you.
Okay, next, Dennis, please.
Is it working? Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. In September, a ministerial meeting of the Friends for Peace group on the Ukrainian crisis was held at the United Nations headquarters. Do you plan to hold another meeting in February, especially with the regards that Foreign Minister Wang Yi is visiting New York? Thank you.
Yes, during China's presidency, there will be a very important anniversary, which is February the 24th. And this is the day when 3 years ago, the conflict in Ukraine started. So there are already countries who are proposing to have a meeting on that date. And as a president of the council, China is obliged to make a proper arrangement according to the rules of procedures. And as the past practice, most likely the Russian Federation will propose a counter meeting, and we will also be obliged to arrange for that meeting. And respect to the friend of the chair for Ukraine, indeed, this is, we already had 2 meetings. One is at the ministerial level and the other at the PR level. And the purpose is to build a platform for the Global South to have our voices heard, because this conflict is not only affecting the 2 countries, it has global ramifications. And it is important that the Global South should highlight the global ramification of this conflict. For instance, the food security, the energy security, and also even the maritime transportation. So that is the purpose of our setting up this Friends of the Chair, group of friends, Friends for Peace. That's right. And for this February, for the coming months, yes, this group, we are thinking about having another meeting to evaluate the current situation. We know there are many things that are afoot concerning this issue, and there are many ideas and proposals. We are very glad to see, as far as I can see, there are expressions of willingness to have a peace negotiation on both sides. And so we do hope that this can materialize. and materialize soon. And we will first evaluate the situation, and secondly, we'll see if there is a useful role for the platform, for this group to play in order to facilitate this peace dialogue, if that happens. Thank you.
Okay, next, Yingqian from the Phoenix TV.
Thank you, Ambassador. I'm Yingqian Chen from Hong Kong Phoenix TV. We see that China has launched the artificial intelligence DeepSeek recently, which has aroused global attention. And President Trump said this could be a wake-up call for the countries. And he said the U.S. should win the competition between the U.S. and China on the AI developing. And we see that the U.S. Navy and also Texas has announced to ban DeepSeek. What's your response on that? And also last year, the UNGA has approved this resolution to enhance the global cooperation on AI. How would the U.S. and China cooperate while competing on AI development?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Indeed, the DeepSeek has caused global sensation, and also some commotion or even panic in certain quarters. And so I'm not a technical person, so I will not go into the technical details. But I'm sure, and I encourage all of you to use it. It will come in handy when you write your news reports, I'm sure. And but as I said, I will not go into the technical details. But I think the takeaway from this, for me, in particular, is that the technological containment and technological restriction do not work. I think that is a lesson that the whole world should learn, in particular the US should learn. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again. Never, ever underestimate the ingenuity of the Chinese scientists and engineers. And also I want to say that some of the knee-jerk reactions from some quarters is totally unwarranted. What we need is not more bans or more close-ups or more closures. Look at the Huawei, look at TikTok, now the DeepSeek. How many more do you want to ban? Huh? For us, the right approach is to open up, and is to have cooperation, both on the technological level and actually for the political level as well. And you mentioned the resolutions. Indeed, China and the US being the two most advanced countries in terms of the AI, we have so much to cooperate. And as we always say, that AI has profound ramifications in all assets of human life. So actually, in my view, we cannot afford not to cooperate. And we need to cooperate in order to make the benefits of AI available to all countries, in particular in the global south. And actually, talking about the resolution, that is the reason why China put forward that resolution. That is to strengthen the international cooperation in terms of the capacity building, in particular for the global south. And actually, in addition to that, we all know that AI has both the benefits and also the potential risks. And there need to be real guardrails. And in order to have the proper guardrails in place as the AI develops, we need cooperation, in particular between China and the United States. If we have fragmentation, it can only enhance the risk and reduce the benefits. And I don't think that is in the interest of anyone, including the United States, and in particular, not in the interest of the whole world. So as I said, some of the knee-jerk reactions need to stop, and they are not warranted. Thank you.
sure that you have more questions to ask, but already it's more than 10 questions. You know that after the briefing, Ambassador have another event just to follow this. Therefore, I'll just suggest 2 more questions.
Okay, 2 more questions.
Okay. AFP, Amila.
Thank you, Ambassador. Amélie Botelier from AFP News Agency. I have a follow-up on DR Congo. Last week in the Council, you joined your voice to clearly condemn Rwanda support to M23. So would you support this kind of language singling out Rwanda in the future resolution that is discussing? And what is your position on the DRC government requesting the Security Council to impose sanctions on Kigali? Thank you.
Well, I think as I said, the resolution, there is a possibility of having a resolution. And so if that happens, I think it will be subject to consultation. And as far as China is concerned, as I said, we do believe that actually I think this is also a view shared by the majority of the international community. There is no military solution to this conflict. So the peace talks is the only way out. And we also believe that the territorial integrity of the DRC need to be respected, and that's why we demand the withdrawal of the M23 and some of the Rwandan troops, military troops, from the territory they have occupied, and we urge the parties concerned to be more involved in the Luanda and Nairobi processes. So we do hope that both DRC and Rwanda should respond positively to the mediation efforts, both by the regional groups and by the international community, by the Security Council as well. And the sanctions. So I think we need to leave that open and see how far we can go. But I think the overwhelming role and the overwhelming view is that Rwanda should stop supporting the M23 in its military offensives.
The last one. Everybody know you.
Ambassador, actually, I want to ask you the DeepSeek question. Actually, DeepSeek generated that question, but it's been asked by Inchen. So I will change to another topic. This month, the signature event is about implementing multilateralism. We know that the new U.S. administration now in the process of withdrawing Paris Agreement, withdrawing from WHO. We saw the sharp change of policy on UNRWA. And the incoming ambassador of U.S. also said that there will be America first, which means to curb the influence of China in the UN. With all this, what do you think of the withdrawing of multilateralism of the United States, and how are you going to communicate with the incoming new ambassador Stefanik on these issues? Thank you.
Well, as I said in my opening remarks, I think now we are faced with all these global challenges, and no country can stay aloof or can stay unaffected. That includes the United States, even though it is as strong as a country like the United States. So, of course, we do believe that multilateralism is the way forward, and well, as to the foreign policy of the United States, it's up to the Trump administration to decide what policy they pursue. But as I said, as far as China is concerned, we stand ready to cooperate with any country, including the United States. And as I said, China and the U.S. have so much common interest when it comes to the tackling the global issues. So we do hope that we will have a good relations. And again, I want to emphasize, despite of our political differences between our two countries, I think as diplomats, we need to be professional. I emphasize the word professional. And because there are issues that the diplomats, our mission is to build bridges. And I do hope that I can work with the new PR of the US in building bridges for our two countries, despite the political differences, or despite whatever political differences we may have. Our mission should be to minimize, not to expand, or not to create more differences. Our mission here is to build bridges between our two countries, and then if there is a possibility, our two countries can work together to improve the life of the people of the whole world and to improve the situation. As I said, the world is entering a very turbulent period. So as two biggest countries, we don't need to fight each other. We need to work together and to fight against the common enemies of the world, like terrorism, like the climate change, like those cross-country crime, transnational crimes. There are so many things that need the cooperation of the two countries, and so targeting China is not the right way forward. Thank you.
Many thanks for your excellency, for your thorough introduction and replies. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks you once again for being here today and for your continued interest in the work of the Security Council. This concludes today's briefing. Have a nice day. Thank you.